Hi, this is Sweet Life and I'm Natasha, back at it with the recipe for jambalaya. I've eaten jambalaya once in my life in New Orleans after waiting a lifetime to visit the city. The dish is in keeping with African jollof rice or West Indian cook-up, a rice dish cooked with meat and vegetables and flavored with tomatoes. This is actually my first time trying to make it, so I'm learning as I go. I'm currently trying to cut carbs where possible, so instead of using rice as in the traditional recipe, I've opted for barley, but you can go ahead and use rice. You can use chicken, you can use sausage, you can use shrimp, you can use chicken, sausage, and shrimp, or any combination of it. In this case, I'm not doing chicken, I'm just going to do sausage and shrimp. I already have my shrimp, which I've rinsed with some water and lemon juice. I let it soak for a little bit and then just rinsed it off. And so now I'm just going to slice the sausage. Here you have the sausage. I think I actually want to cut them in half. So this way, as you're eating it, you'll get you're more likely to get a little bit of everything in each bite. I feel like, just sliced it looked a little bit too big. So I have some okra. I bought it from the store. It's already pre-sliced, so that's good to go. I have some celery, which I've already sliced up. But this is now going to go into the pan to brown. I'm actually not going to add any oil to the pan. The reason being, if you look at this, as with most sausages, it has a little bit of fat throughout. When you put it in there, it's going to render down. The sausage is going to get crispy, and it's going to give off some oil. So I feel like if you put oil in the pan, plus you put this in as well, it's going to end up being too greasy. Here I have this pot, and to it, I am going to add my andouille sausage. And basically what you want to do at this point is just allow the sausage to brown. Try to avoid crowding the pan, so that way, all of the pieces, you pretty much get a layer, a single layer. So that way all of the pieces can brown individually. You want it to have some contact with the bottom of the pan so it can brown. It helps to develop flavor. And when it's crowded in, it steams more so than browning. You want the pan to be hot, but not blazing, because you don't want the sausage to burn. If you have quite a bit of sausage, you might need to do a few batches. You can get a plate with a little bit of paper towel or something like that, or even just a plate by itself. And if you're doing batches, as it browns, you just take some out, put it onto the plate, do your next batch, and just work your way through until the sausage is nicely browned on all sides. Let it brown a little bit on the first side, then just take a pot spoon, give it a nice little stir. You want to make sure that it browns evenly. You want all of the pieces, if possible, to brown on both sides, so that way you have nice development of flavor. Now that the sausage is nicely browned, I'm actually going to reserve it. Take it and just put it off to the side while I cook the vegetables and whatnot. I'm going to add just a little bit of oil to the pot. And to this, I'm now going to add some bell pepper and onion mix, some celery, some garlic, chopped jalapenos. And this I'm going to just stir all of that up and just let it cook. Pretty much what we want to do is cook down the vegetables. What you're trying to do is basically sweat the onions, allow the bell peppers to soften, and especially if you're using fresh vegetables. In this case, I'm using the frozen pre-cut onions and bell peppers, just because I find it to be more convenient. But especially if you're using raw onions, raw peppers, in this case I have fresh celery that I've just chopped up, I want to allow that to cook down, to tenderize. Now we're going to add other things in it and it's going to cook, but with onion and garlic, I feel like it needs to cook before you add other stuff to the pan. Right? I don't enjoy the taste of raw garlic. I don't enjoy the taste of raw onion. And I feel like while it's all going to cook, yes, I do feel like there's a difference in flavor when you allow the onion, garlic, and these other aromatics and seasonings and things like that to get a chance to cook down and stew down and blend together before you add in your other ingredients. So just give it a little bit of time. It doesn't really take that long. we have quite a few things here, so it'll take a bit longer than if you maybe just had some onion in the pan, but it's going to pay off in the end. It's definitely going to be worth it. To the aromatics, I'm going to add some tomatoes, diced tomatoes, a little bit of water, and then in my case, barley. But if you're using rice, this would be the point at which you add it. Just take care that you thoroughly rinse it. You make sure there's no extra unexpected anything in there. Give it a good rinse, strain it, and go on ahead and add it to the pot. Just give it a quick stir to combine to get the barley kind of mixed into there, or your rice in your case. What we're trying to do here now is it's going to really cook. So we want to set it up to get the flavors blended together. We'll season it with some seasoning salt, a little bit of black pepper, a bit of garlic powder, and then also some onion powder as well. A little bit of thyme, and then just once again give it a stir. Because we've added these seasonings, we want to make sure that everything is equally and evenly distributed throughout the pot. Now, I made the decision here to go ahead and add the okra to the pot. The barley is going to have to cook for quite a bit of time, about 30-40 minutes or so. Adding the okra to the pot at this point, I felt would add flavor, the flavor of the okra that is, and the okra as well would absorb flavor from all of the other ingredients in the dish. Now, I actually don't mind the slime from okra. I actually like it. But in adding the okra at this point, because it's going to cook for quite a bit of time, what ends up happening is it goes from this really nice, bright, vibrant green color to a more muted green. So if you'd like, you have the option of adding the okra in just maybe the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so of the pot cooking. But if I was going to do it again, that would be the choice that I'd make. But at the time that I was making the jambalaya, I went ahead and just added it in here because I wanted to allow it to absorb more flavor. But I think doing it again, I would wait a bit and add it in so I could try to preserve some of that color just because it looks really nice. It doesn't really have any effect on the flavor or anything like that. But that bright, vibrant green, it just looks really nice in the dish. All that's left to really do here is to cover the pot, lower the fire down if you've got it up high, and just let it cook for a while. This is to allow your barley or your rice to cook, the flavors to come together. When it's most of the way there, maybe 10 minutes or so to go, a little bit less than that, go ahead, open up the pot, add your shrimp in. So we don't want the shrimp to overcook and become tough and chewy. So just in the last 5 to 7 minutes, let's say, just enough time to let it cook through, to let it get pink and just cook, but avoid having it be overcooked. And so with that, into the pot, all of our ingredients are now in there, and it's really just allowing the shrimp to cook. A really good stir, so that way the shrimp can get all mixed in with the rice or barley in my case, the vegetables and everything else, and the heat from the other items of the pot will help the shrimp to cook. Now, as I said, and I'm repeating it again because it's really important, just the last few minutes. At the point when you add the shrimp, your rice or your barley and whatnot should pretty much be cooked. It's just the last few minutes, the shrimp being added in and really just steaming, kind of cooking from the heat of the other items in the pot. You just cover the pot for a few minutes, the last 5 or so minutes. By the time you open it, the shrimp should be a nice delicate pink color. It should still be nice and tender, and everything else is nicely cooked. Everything comes together. And with that, you're good to go. You have jambalaya. And now, if you want, I've added in some jalapeno, which adds a little bit of spice, but you can certainly add a little bit more spice at the table with some hot sauce, some pepper sauce, something like that. You have quite a bit of vegetables in there. You've got a bit of protein between the sausage and the shrimp. You've got a carb, between the barley or your rice. So it's like you have a really complete meal here. It tastes amazing. It has like really nice complex flavor, but it's actually not that difficult to make. And it's like just like good comfort food. Simple, start with good ingredients. For the vegetables, you can sub out. If you can't get like good fresh stuff, you can get like some good quality frozen onion and pepper mix, okra and whatnot. You can trim down on time where you can, but it comes together to make a really nice dish, and I think you'll enjoy it.